Wait, don't leave. Guitar people, stay here. Learn about your primary chords. Just because it's a ukulele doesn't mean it's not useful musical information. I'm asking you to hang around because I think I confuse YouTube when I do ukulele. They send it out to guitar people and they don't want to see them, so suddenly my views dry up. It's not like I have an awful lot, but it's fun to watch them climbing rather than descending. So do me a favor, hang around a little bit, click on these when you see them, and see if you might learn something even though it's not on your guitar. Ukulele players generally are going to be playing in groups and they're going to be playing songs. I will be tackling scales and note reading and everything else on ukulele, just like we do on guitar, but probably more immediately important to them would be their chords. So I want to run through again the primary chord chart, develop it a little bit more this time, and see how you want to learn your chords and relate them one to another. One of our first keys, the first key that I would explore fully, is the key of C on ukulele. You know your C chord. We also did a C7. I went to the second string and played this F note and called it an F chord for a while, although it's an F2. You can add your middle finger to the bottom string and complete the F chord. Then you can make a G7. That's a second fret, first fret, second, and an open fourth. And then we'll slide that back to C. After a time, we would want to learn the G itself. G7 is a triangle, a 2, a 1, and a 2. It points toward the head of the ukulele. G is a triangle that points the other way. It's a 2, a 3, and a 2. Notice the 2s are in common. This one has an F note on the pointer. This one has a G note on the ring finger. So that's your G chord. So at first you practice those chords. I'm going to skip the C7 for the time being. I go C, F, G, and C. C and G and C and F and C and F and G and F and G and C. So many of your songs are going to be in the key of C. You want to know that key right away. Those are the 1, 4, and 5 in the key of C. Those are the primary chords. C is the 1. So you count alphabetically starting on whatever your key is. The key is C, so you start counting alphabetically. C, D, E, F is 4. So we'll have a C major chord on that C note, and an F major chord on the F note, and a G major chord on the G note. So those would be the 1, 4, and 5 in C. And then the way I like to operate with my chord chart is after I've done this key and I get to the 5 chord, I'm going to use that 5 chord for my next key. Count up from G then. G, A, B, C is the 4 and D is the 5. So I've got G, C, and D chords. So you practice G's and D's, G's and C's. I just did C 3 different ways. That's 1, 4, 5 in the key of G. Notice both of these keys had G's and C's. That's one reason we build them in this order. These are called closely related keys. The key of the 1 is closely related to the keys of the 4 and the 5. Once I'm in G and I know that key, I can play a bunch of songs with G's, C's, and D's. The 5 chord is going to become my 1 in the next key. So D is the 1. D, E, F, G is 4, and A is 5. Notice the G has just transferred over here. 5 has gone to 1. This previous 1 has gone to the 4. So now I can practice D's and G's and A's. Go back to the other videos if you need pictures and you need to double check these chords. D is open to 2 and 2. Counting from the high string down. G is 2, 3, and 2 with an open fourth. A is open, open, 1, this C sharp note, and an A note, the 2. A's are the 5 chords in the key of D, so they land you back on D's. D up to its 4 chord, back to D to its 5 chord, the A, back to D. That's the way to practice each key. Notice if I knew the key of C, I'd already almost know the key of G. I know G's and C's all I have to do is learn one chord, the D chord, to complete the primary chords in G. Once I know G's and D's, I've got 2/3 of the key of D. All I need to do is learn the A to complete the key of D. Now the A becomes my one chord. A, B, C, D is 4, E is 5. E is a bit of a handful. Ukulele players don't happen to love this one right off the bat. It looks exactly like a D slid up 2 frets. D was 0, 2, 2, and 2. So E, these 2's become 4's. The open has to become a 2. So it's 2, 4, 4, 4. I use 3 fingers here if I'm going to do this version. You might be able to play with 2 fingers, where the middle finger could catch the lower 2 strings, or you could use the ring finger to catch the middle 2 strings. Anything like that will work. You can also just play the 3 notes that have 4's on them and don't play the other string. D, E, and A. D, E with the top string. D, E, and A. Or that sounds just fine. Or you can take this E chord where from the bottom string, now I'm going to go 4, 4, 4, and grab an E up here at the 7th fret of the 1st string. This actually is the C form of our chords. If I start dragging that down the ukulele until my finger got on a C note, this would fall right off and I would have a 3 and an open and an open and an open. C is 2 frets below D, so if I move that C up to a D, move all those opens to a 2. Whoops, that didn't sound great. You see these 2's of the D chord? But instead of open A, I'm going to grab a D up here now. So that's the same style chord as the C, same inversion. So that's also an E, or an F, or a G, and so on. You can move that chord anywhere you like. So that's the key of A. A, D, and E. That would be Wild Thing if you want to play a song with it. A, D, E, Wild Thing. You make my heart sing. You make everything groovy. That's a great A song, not necessarily when I sing it, but you get the picture. The 5 chord can also be dominant 7. We could play G7s instead of Gs in the 5 chord position, D7s instead of Ds, A7s, and E7s. The reason I bring it up now is everybody likes an E7, even if they don't like an E. I think we encountered it before, but just in case we hadn't, it's got the same 2 and 2 that a G7 does. But instead of putting the pointer on the 2nd string, put it on the 4th. So G7, 2, 1, 2, and an open. E7 is 2, open 2, and a 1. E7s like to land on A's. A7s want to land on D's. D7s then land on G's, G7s land on C's. The last key I'll do here would be the key of E. We have E's, A's, and B's. Another chord people don't necessarily love right away. This requires a bar. We need this B note and the F sharp. When people see a picture of it, they'll try to grab those 2 notes with 2 different fingers. Don't do that, you grab them with 1. To do a good bar, I might as well talk about this right now. You're going to do them wrong as you start. Probably you have your thumb up here, but it doesn't matter. You should have it down where we don't see it. People will lean their finger in and try to get pressure from this side onto the fret. and they twist this way and then can't get the chord. That's not the way to do your bar. You actually want the pressure on this side of your finger, and you want to bring that right up to the fret wire. So if my finger was straight, flat on the ukulele, this would be hard to get. What you want to do is tip it so that you're playing on the edge, and you snug that right up to the fret. The way it looks from your angle is probably 2/3 of my finger appears to be overlapping into the 3rd fret. What's happening is with the fret wire like this, my finger comes up to it and leans over. I'm getting a lot of pressure right there as the string comes over the fret. And a lot of the excess skin of the finger is going to hang over as I'm pushing my pressure into that fret. I'm dragging right up into it on the edge, not flat, but on the thumb side edge, so that I've got an angle to work these two fingers. So I've got a 2, 2, a 3 with the middle finger, and a 4 with the ring finger. This little B is going to be essential on your ukulele. This chord moves wherever you want. B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, and so on. So that's your B chord. If you want a B7, it's a little easier. It does find its way into this position. So let's look at both of those. The B chord has this finger barring. That's your pointer on those two strings, your middle finger and your ring finger. Notice when you draw the pictures, it looks like I'm playing right in the center. The picture is not a photograph of where your finger is. It's just showing which frets we want marked. So don't believe the picture. Don't try and get in the center of the fret. Just locate yourself in that fret. The B7's easier because we don't bar. We leave the top string open, then play the 2nd fret with your tip, 3rd and 4th. That won't work in the key of B necessarily, but it certainly works in E when B is the dominant 7 or the 5 chord. So B7s lead to E's. So here we've seen how the 1, 4, and 5 work in each key. The 5 is the chord that wants to lead you back to the 1 in every case, and in every case it could be a dominant 7. The way I've been working this is I started with a key, the key of C, used the 5 chord to give me the next key. Its 5 gives me the next key. That chord becomes the 4 in this key. So this D becomes the 4 in the key of A becomes the 1, add a note to D and you get the 5. Use the 5 to get the next key, bring the 4 over, add a note to get the 5. So obviously if I go the other way, I will use this chord for the root, and this for the 5. D, the 4 chord, becomes the root, so I'm going up a 4th now. A becomes the 5. G is a 4th above D, it's the 4 of D, it becomes this key, D becomes the 5. C, the 4 in G, is my key above it, G becomes the 5, so therefore I need the key of F, and its 5 is C, or C7. So I need a 4 chord. I need a note 2 frets before C. So alphabetically from F, F, G, A, B. B is the note I want. So that's your 1, 4, 5 in F. I'm tricking you right now. Let's try it out. Here's F, B, that doesn't sound good, and C7. F, B, and C. Sounds interesting, but it's not proper. It does not have the same mood as the others. There has to be a 2 fret difference between these two notes. B's and C's, as you know from your scales, are right beside each other by 1 fret. So I actually have to lower this note to B flat. It turns out then the key of F has 1 flat note. It has B flat notes. So we've got F's. You take a B chord, 2, 2, 3, and 4, and lower it. You flat it to this B flat note. 1, 1, 2, and 3. C7, F, B flat, C7, F. This is going to be one of your most popular keys on ukulele. I avoid it for a little while because of the bar in a B flat that looks like the bar in a B, just 1 fret lower. but we can't avoid it forever, and you're going to have tons of songs that use that. So you have to get good at it sooner than later. You could also play Wild Thing with any of these keys. I can play it with F and go F, B flat, C. F, B flat, C, B flat, F. You'll find tons of songs that use Fs, B flats, and Cs. You'll run into them in your books all the time. But Wild Thing or a blues in F will give you an opportunity to practice the 1, 4, and 5. As always, use each one. F to B flat, F to C, F to C7, F to B flat, to C7, to B flat, to C7, to B flat, to C, to B flat, to F. Work them around in all different orders. The next key would be a B flat, F would be the 5 chord, and E flat would be the 4. We'll look at that another time, but what I'll do with this next time is start adding the minor chords. First, get good at one key at a time, 1, 4, and 5 in C. Then go to the 5 chord, the G, and play a 1, 4, 5 in G. Then go to the 5 chord, the D, and play 1, 4, 5 in D. Don't just play them, of course, get good at them. Practice going back and forth, mastering one new chord and one new key at a time. When you're ready, move on to the next. Hopefully we haven't killed off the channel and you guys will come back for more ukulele another day. Thanks very much. Bye for now.